Welcome to D&D Journey of the 5th Edition. Join our various gaming groups as we play the 5th edition of Dungeons & Dragons. And maybe just hang out and chat about gaming in general. Sit back and enjoy the show.
Hi, this is Kelly, aka Trixie from Ragnarok and Roll, assigned to Ragnarok Story, and Tilda Wimblewick from D&D Journey of the 5th Edition. First off, I would just like to say thank you to everyone for listening to our varied adventures, as well as for rating us on iTunes and RPGpodcast.com. If you haven't rated us yet, we would greatly appreciate it if you could. And if you're looking for more ways to support our efforts, we are now on Patreon, a great site where you can help us continue making more podcasts, as well as some special surprises for our patrons. If you can, please look us up at www.patreon.com/cppn. Every little bit helps. And again, thank you for listening.
Hey guys, Jim here with Creative Plan Podcast Network, and welcome back to day 17 of #RPGaDay2022.
Woot!
So for today, the word is past, present, or future. When is your favorite game set?
Well, D&D always seems like it's technically past, so I would have to say past, because that is one of my favorite. I love playing D&D 5th edition. It's, I kind of like some of the,
Alternate fantasy.
Mm-hmm. And you know what? I mean, any of the alternate fiction for it as well. I mean, I'm interested in trying that ever on, but I would have to say past.
You prefer the past.
Yes.
That's a good choice, because, I was also going to say past because one of my favorite games to play is in a galaxy far, far away, long ago.
Also technically past.
Because it's a galaxy far, far away, long ago.
That's right.
So just going to say I prefer the Star Wars RPG as one of my favorites, because you can totally make any adventure group of any style, make, shape, or form as Star Wars. Because let's be honest, you could totally be the archaeologist digging through ruins. You could be archaeologists looking for Jedis. You could be Force sensitives searching for their Jedi roots, and let them find Sith and see what happens.
That is true. Mm-hmm. That is very true.
Because, let's be honest, we can romanticize the past. I mean, we are of that generation that the future is supposed to be dystopian.
Yeah. Actually, we grew up on the whole end of the world, is coming.
Mm-hmm. We were promised one of like 80 different post-apocalypses, whether it was the machine or the lack of gas or just a flat-out nuclear apocalypse, and they blew it all up.
Yeah, well, that was the big one,
Mm-hmm.
was the, let's have the, what was the name of that?
Which one?
Oh, there's this one, nuclear war one that scared the dickens out of my sister when she was young. And
is that The Day After?
I think it was The Day After.
Yeah, not to be confused with the weather one.
Yeah, no.
This was the nukes happen, and then you see what really happens.
Yeah.
Super creepy.
Very, very creepy. Just like lots of bad shit.
Lots of real world bad shit.
Yeah, so after that, she was like, nope.
I mean, think about it. If we were lucky, we were promised a dystopian cyberpunk future. If we were lucky. Where the corporations have taken over.
Ah, yes, the Blade Runner. Oh, yeah. Uh-huh. Definitely.
Yeah, these were the options. So I kind of agree with you. The past is nice because you can totally romanticize it. I mean,
Yep. That whole golden age philosophy.
I mean, think about how much D&D pulls from that whole European, historical, Arthurian, Charlemagne roots.
Yeah, but it did have other types of, because the desert ones had more of, other, like a Bedouin kind of culture included, and
You get the Arabian, Persian influence coming in.
Of course, it's from a European perspective, so that's not always
true.
Not always a good thing, historically speaking.
I mean, but at least, it was given good source material to work with. But that is one thing I do love playing with is the whole historical references. I mean, let's be honest. Let's look at Game of Thrones. How much of his stuff is really real world historical events just dashed with fantasy?
Yeah, no, I hated his books.
If you lived during the War of the Roses, you would probably be dead after 2 chapters.
Yeah, they were always killing each other.
Yep.
Okay, but you said World War II. The War of the Roses was much earlier.
Well, I said world history is what he draws.
World history. Oh,
yeah, I didn't say World War.
World War. Okay.
No, that's totally a different topic.
Yeah, no.
I mean, Eberron kind of pulls from the World War I feel with the whole apocalypse where all the countries gang up on one douchey country who's trying to take over. I mean, we've seen that in history before, and it ends up bad for everybody.
Well, war in general tends to end up bad for.
And if you look at the older RPGs and the wargaming stuff that came out back in the day, pretty much most of them focus on the past.
Well, I mean, the weapons, it's pretty much dictated by what weapons you're using, I think. So when it was created, the sword and sorcery, type of game system, since swords are not like very prevalent nowadays. Yeah. At least you don't see. So I think that was indicative of why old is
romanticized.
And not just necessarily romanticized, but the main setting.
I mean, think about it. How much of our Star Wars stuff is either Western or pirates?
Basically.
Your old blockade runners during the...
Except for the Jedis, who are more...
samurai.
Yeah.
Which is also pulling from the past, see?
Exactly.
And as GMs and players, do not be afraid of going back and borrowing from the past.
Oh, that one where we did the Scion, where we actually, because it was modern day, but our characters went back in, time, and we were at the Battle of the Bulge, but we were inhabiting, like, soldiers, U.S. soldiers around there, and that was a lot of fun. I mean, you had to break the blizzard, basically, and then it was just, I had never done anything like that before, and I had a blast. I did. And I was also the only one who guessed correctly. I was like, woo! So there was a puzzle, a mystery. We were like transported to the past, but we weren't ourselves, but we were ourselves. There were a lot of layers, but yes, it was, again, the past, because the setting for the sign was present day. So it was a lot of fun doing that with those characters.
And I will totally drop, that my great uncle, who was in the Battle of the Bulge from the 101st, he told stories of that stuff, of how it was not a normal winter. It was a supernatural winter that just all of a sudden stopped one day.
Uh-huh. And that was because of me.
Mm-hmm. And of course it was nice because since one of the scions in the group was Native American, I got to use the storyteller from the Pantheon, and she was a perfect one for transporting your spirits back to teach you a lesson from the past.
Yeah, it was so much fun. I just remember it fondly. It was like, wow, oh my God, this is, and then of course, then we got to go fight the Germans and kicked butt. And they're like, but you're Acer, you're supposed to be on our side. I'm like, nuh-uh, we're Americans. Do the whole, Like,
I mean, after all, in a Scion-esque environment, of course there would be gods on both sides of the war. Heck,
exactly.
We're talking Odin. He would be dead center playing both sides to get more good soldiers to his side.
Yeah, and based off of the, was it the Companion novel that introduces like,
Scion Companion.
The Scion history said that most of the Acer gods sided with the Germany initially. But of course, since we may have been the children of, most of us were the children of, it was because it was Ragnarok and roll. So most of us were of scions of the Acer, the majority of us, because we had a Japanese, Native American.
And the rest were all Acer.
And all the rest were Acer, yeah. And it was funny because an Acer death god and a Japanese death god. That was really funny. So it's like, but wait a minute, you're supposed to be siding with us. I'm like, nuh-uh. Sorry.
We're American.
It's like, we're not siding with the baddies.
Your uniforms have skulls
on it. It's like, oh, I love that. Are we the baddies?
I think we're the baddies.
We have skulls on our uniforms. It's not usually a motif but it was a lot of fun. And again, past.
So I think we definitely agree that the past is where it's at.
Well, it's just the preferred, because we've played other games where I wouldn't necessarily say the past.
We've played many future games. I mean, we both grew up cutting our teeth on games like Gamma World, which was that dystopian apocalypse we were promised.
Yep, dystopian.
And then, of course, we've played many games in the present, like Scion.
Yep.
Or, a few of the Monster of the Week style supernatural, games. Because current setting is pretty handy for those in superheroes.
And alternate fiction like Genesis.
Oh, yeah.
Where it's still, it's modern day, but history has completely been changed due to, massive, restructuring of the continents, one would say.
Things got little cattywampus.
Exactly. So, I mean, but again, I just to reiterate, the past is, I think, we romanticize it some. It's a tendency.
And it's easier to codify, because you can totally say 1400s, and players can do a quick Google research or Wikipedia research, and boom, they kind of get the gist.
Well, that is how I got into costuming. I just was fascinated with historical clothing, historical costuming. So.
And we just need to find more bustle holsters for guns.
I can do that.
I'm sure there was some kind of weapons with the bustle. So I think that's going to wrap up day 17, past, present, or future. When is your favorite game set? And by the way, all of them are great, valid settings. Because remember, the past cannot hurt you, the present is a gift, and the future is unknown. Wah, wah, wah. Alrighty, guys. Thank you for listening, and have a great day.
Thank you for listening to D&D Journey of the 5th Edition, a member of the Creative Play and Podcast Network. Please follow us on Patreon at patreon.com/CPPN to never miss a show or stream.